You ever had a moment where a student says something small, but your reaction feels like it's real big? Not because of them, but because of everything you're carrying. Welcome back to Everything But the Lesson Plan. I am your host, Franchesca Thompson, and today we're talking about something we don't always say out loud as educators. Sometimes it's not the student, it's the spillover. Let's tell the truth. Teaching isn't just delivering content, it's emotional labor all day long. I recently did this TikTok that went viral. This is so funny to me that I've done two TikToks so far about education and teachers, and they've both gone viral. And this one was really about us sharing our stories at the end of the year, and if Netflix was to do a documentary on that. What was intriguing was the comments, right? And all the teachers that were locked in, they're like, I need to share my story. It's been a year, it's been all of these different things. And there was quite a few positive comments as well. We had a really good time with that post. But what is true is that education, being a teacher, is emotional labor. You're managing 30 different personalities, deadlines, administrative expectations, and emails that never stop. And let's not forget that you have a life outside of school that doesn't pause. And then, on top of that, this happens. You get to work, you get to class, and a student rolls their eyes, they talk back, or they shut down. And in that very moment, it's not just that moment. It's the all the other stuff. It's the meeting from earlier. It's the lack of support that you feel, the exhaustion, the pressure to get it right all the time. So then your response, it comes out a little sharper than what you had intended. Not because you're a bad teacher. We all have our moments, but because you're human. And that is one thing that this coaching endorsement class taught me. Human first, right? Meeting teachers where they are. And so the emotional stakes, right? It's high. I remember a day a student challenged me. Nothing major, but I felt it immediately. My tone shift, my patient disappeared, and later I sat in my car and I thought, where did that come from? It wasn't about that student. It was the weight of expectations, the constant pouring into others all the time, and not taking care of myself. And so you got to kind of evaluate that stuff every day. And that's why, I've said it time and time again, after work, because I know teaching is an emotional laboring job. Every day after work, I go on a walk. If it's raining, it's going to have to be on my treadmill, right? Because I need to release my day. So, that moment with that student taught me something really powerful. If we don't regulate, we transfer. Self-care is so important. And so the shift. So, how do we manage emotional regulation in real time? Not perfectly, but intentionally. There's things that we can do, reflective things that we can do. Pause before you personalize. Not everything is about you. Sometimes behavior is communication and is not disrespect at all. So you might want to ask, what might they be carrying? Name it internally. You don't have to say it out loud, but say it to yourself. I'm overwhelmed. I'm frustrated. I need a second. I need a second. That's my go-to. Let me get a minute, not even a second. I need the whole minute. Awareness breaks reaction. And, like I said, self-reflection is really, truly the key. You got to create micro moments of reset. This is one of the most important things that we have to do because we keep going and going and going, as if it's a badge of honor. I know there's some teachers that be like, I haven't had a break all day. I haven't eaten lunch all day, and it's 3 o'clock, and they're just proud of that moment, right? But that is not a badge of honor. You've got to take a pause. You've got to have a micro moment of reset. I'm not asking you to do a full yoga session in the middle of your class, but I am asking you in between classes, take a break, right? Take a deep breath, right? That water that you keep bringing and sitting on the table, sip it, okay? Take a 5-second pause before you respond. Those small resets, they will equal big impacts in the long run. You want to separate the behavior from the student, correct the action. Okay, correct little Johnny. And I'm sorry, every time I do an example, it's always little Johnny. If there's a little Johnny listening to this, I'm sorry. But yes, correct little Johnny, but protect the relationship because students remember how you made them feel, especially on their worst days. And then release the day. Do not take everything home. Because when you carry today into tomorrow, you show up already depleted. And your next class doesn't deserve your leftovers. The bigger message, this is bigger than classroom management. Okay. This is about sustainability. It's about longevity. It's about protecting your identity as an educator because burnout doesn't always come from the work that we do. It comes from the unmanaged emotions attached to the work. And if we don't learn how to regulate, we risk becoming the very versions of ourselves we never, ever, ever, ever wanted to be. So, the world talks about classroom management all the time. It's probably 50,000 books on classroom management. But the real power, it's in self-management. Because when you learn to regulate your emotions, you don't just change your classroom, you change your presence. And that is what students will never, ever, ever forget. So take it in, think about it. Most of us are on summer break. This is a good time for us to reset, learn how to make it a habit in our day so that when we go back to work, it's still going to continue to be a habit. Those pause, those breaks, those deep breaths, drinking water. I went to the doctor just recently. Well, not actually a doctor, it was like a fitness coach. And I told her how much water I was drinking, and she was like, no. I'm gonna need you to drink 3 of those. And I'm really, really working hard on that. I'm really working hard on trying to establish some healthy routines now. I've got just ordered a book that I'm going to read. I got to pour into myself this summer, fill my cup up so when I go back to work, I don't have any spillover. I am my best self. I am the teacher that they need me to be. So think about some things that you're doing this summer. Don't, if you can, try to make sure you have somewhat of a summer break. I know some of us have to work, but if you can, at least a week or a weekend, go get a massage, do something for yourself every single day. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Little, short, reflective episode. The conversations that we should be having. Definitely share this, like it, post, subscribe, and answer the poll, please. Right? I want to say thank you for riding with me every week. I hope you're enjoying your summer. This is everything but the lesson plan. And as always, keep thriving.